Okay, so Brooklynella. Now this is a disease which is actually really common in the hobby, but it's often misdiagnosed as white spot, especially by hobbyists that are new to it. If you want to know what Brooklynella looks like, check out our other videos on diagnosing disease. And if you want to prevent getting Brooklynella, make sure you check out our video on quarantine. So if you've got Brooklynella, hopefully if you've got it in the quarantine tank, it's fairly easily eradicated. If you use cuprazone, which is a mixture of kelp and malachite grain that works very effectively against it, you can also use formalin meds as well. And within a few days you can knock the Brooklynella out quite quickly. It's very easy on the first dose of meds to stop the Brooklynella moving from fish to fish. However, it's much more difficult to eradicate it from fish that are already infected. So you may need to raise the dose or be a little bit more accurate with what you do to try and get it out of the system. But it is quite tricky if a fish is already infected. The Brooklynella can be particularly nasty, so it's important that you act really quickly. And so we've seen systems where a fish has come in with Brooklynella and the whole system is wiped within as little as 6 hours. It can spread fish to fish extremely rapidly, and fish can go from a state of seemingly uninfected to dead in the space of 20 minutes. Now it's very important if you are treating for Brooklynella that as soon as a corpse appears or a fish reaches the point where you know it's not going to survive, to pull and euthanize that fish or remove that dead body as quickly as possible. The reason for that is the Brooklynella parasites, although they multiply in the water, they predominantly multiply on the fish, and the numbers that they can reach on the fish can escalate extremely highly and extremely quickly. Now as soon as that fish dies, all those parasites leave that fish and rapidly start attaching to other fish. So by pulling the dead body very quickly, or pulling the fish and euthanize it before it dies, you can vastly reduce the amount of Brooklynella going on to the other fish. Now although fish with Brooklynella tend to develop symptoms fairly quickly, some fish like dwarf angels are quite tough, so they are usually the prime candidates for bringing it into a system. However, the most common way that people bring Brooklynella into a system is by buying a coral or seaweed or something else wet that's been in a tank that's had fish infected with Brooklynella in it. So Brooklynella, it's very important that you quarantine your corals and anything else wet coming across into the system, because that is by far the most likely way you're going to bring it in. It is possible to bring it in on a fish, but the fish generally look so awful when they're infected with Brooklynella that nobody in their right mind is going to buy a fish in that state. Make sure you check out our other videos on diagnosing disease and quarantine.